they had this Golden Globes show the other night, and Ricky Gervais, been on our show many times, a funny guy. I don't know anybody funnier than Ricky Gervais. And he was the host of the Golden Globes. And he was the host of the Golden Globes a year ago. So he tells his jokes, and now everybody's upset, and they can't believe it. They can't believe what the guy said. And they're saying, well, he's never coming back. This guy is done in show business. Are you kidding me? Send him back to England. Nobody. Right. Genius. Goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, vicious quips likely to cost him Globes gig. Well, if they had any brains, and clearly they don't, they'd hire the guy full time. That's exactly what you need.
Give him a contract.
That's exactly what you want.
Give him a contract right now.
I remember him from the Golden Globes.
Hi.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm fine, man. Just doing another film that's gonna make loads of money. Probably a lot more money than any film you've ever made.
Good.
Ricky Gervais, you know, we've all seen your clip in his new show, Life's Too Short. He's disgraced himself, hasn't he, in America? It would be awful if he did the Golden Globes again.
I think he is going to do the Golden Globes again.
It's going to be a disaster,
I think he should. He should make up for last year's.
You should go back and apologise, basically.
No, I think he should just go back and be funny this time.
Yeah, so it's not a problem with him targeting you in any way.
No, actually, I thought that was the funniest thing he did. You know, I think he's a very, very funny guy. But you know, he was, you know, it was a strange situation last year, and I mean, he knew. You could tell that he was digging. But I thought ultimately he handled himself very, very well throughout the whole process.
Sorry, have I done something to offend you?
What do you mean, like trashing me in front of like 200 million people at the Golden Globes?
It was a while ago. They were jokes, Johnny.
I want to say last night I watched the Golden Globes. I was offended by Ricky Gervais. I was offended that a comedian could be that funny at an award show. Ricky was hilarious.
Someone asked me, you know, what do you think, as a fellow Brit on TV in America, what do you think of what happened with Ricky? I said, well, it's a bit like inviting a hammerhead shark to dinner, and then when he eats all the guests, you start complaining. I mean, you kind of know what you're going to get.
But that's one thing. But also, as I say, I don't think I did anything wrong. I honestly, you know, those were like jibes at these people, and I'm sure they've got a sense of humour.
Do celebrities have a sense of humour?
I'm not so sure, actually. When he said that to me, I said, are you sure they've all got a sense of humour? Because you could hear this gasp of horror following each of the punchlines. So I think his confidence may be slightly misplaced.
Well, first of all, look who he was doing the humour to. I mean, druggies and drunks. I mean, Betty Ford had a hospitality booth in the lobby.
Any names you want to throw in there, Jack?
But
just to get Anderson off air?
These people aren't there to laugh. I mean, these people are so uptight, and half of them are not the brightest. You know what I'm saying.
Ricky told me a great thing, which I'd never thought about before. He said, you know why award ceremonies are the worst things to host? He said, let me tell you why. Every 10 minutes, you have 4 more losers. People who've dreamt of this moment all their lives, and they've been dealt a crushing blow. So the mood in the room gets more and more miserable as the night goes on, and they get drunk. It's a recipe for total disaster.
But so many of these award shows are so saccharine and just, you know, so produced and boring. He made it unexpected.
Well, in Britain, you see, this kind of thing is like what goes on at most award ceremonies, because sarcasm is the great bedrock of British humour. Whereas in America, it's not like that. And the backslapping, you know, at the Oscars, it goes on interminably, like 5 hours of telling each other how wonderful you are.
Well, this thing even ended on time, I think.
Yes, which tells you how boring it was.
I'd have Ricky Gervais and Joan Rivers. Can you imagine that evening?
But it's interesting, Ricky Gervais never apologized. I saw his stand-up, his HBO show just the other day on TV, and one of the things he says is he never apologizes for anything. Do you ever apologize?
You shouldn't.
Chris North, I think, wasn't a Sex and the City guy, when they ripped into the Sex and the City 2
about
the airbrushing. And it cut to him and he laughed, and I immediately thought, what a great guy.
Right.
He can laugh at that, even though it's his friends they're talking about. And if every other celebrity watched that, they'd realise their own brand is enhanced if they share the joke, and it's diminished if they don't share the joke.
I want to play one more thing from Pierce's interview tonight.
I'm not judging them. I'm not judging them for what they did.
You're mocking them, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm confronting the elephant in the room. They hired me like I'm going to go out there and not talk about the issues in in their industry. Don't forget, I've got to be an outsider there. I mustn't come out there as everyone's mate and schmooze. That's nauseating. I've got to come out there and I've got the roast.
I can't help
But Joe, you have to. I mean, I disagree with Ricky there because he was definitely mocking them. I mean, you can't, as a comedian, you cannot pretend you're not mocking them when you're doing all those jokes. So I thought he was being a bit disingenuous there.
I thought his joke about, I mean, he did this joke when he was introducing Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, and he read this long resume of Tom Hanks, and then he was like, and Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I don't think I think Tim Allen seemed pissed.
No, I think quite a few of them were a bit pissed, actually. And Ricky's saying, I don't think anyone was upset. He doesn't talk to any of them afterwards, so it makes it a bit easier.
I just want to check, before Mr. Depp does arrive, that there's going to be no awkwardness on the sofa, because I know in the Golden Globes you were less than kind about Johnny and Angelina's film. Wouldn't you?
I haven't seen this one. I hadn't seen that one. I still haven't. It didn't stop me though, did it?
Well, he'll be all right, though, won't he?
Of course, he'd be all right. Okay. I didn't buy the controversy really with the Golden Globes. I think that was the press just keeping it going. Because who was really offended? Who did I really offend? You know.
I was there. I think you offended quite a few people.
This was ridiculous. He's in the new show, you know. And everyone was going, oh, he insulted everyone. Johnny Depp was furious. So I sent him an email and said, sorry about the Globes. How'd you like to get your own back? And he went, I loved it. Of course I wasn't annoyed. You know, it's ridiculous. It's like,
all right.
He wasn't annoyed at all.
So was Angelina Jolie in Life's Too Short as well?
I didn't ask her. She didn't look so happy.
Controversy, Ricky. You are not shy. You do like... Well, I don't know if you like... Do you like getting into trouble? Do you like...
I don't get into trouble. I'm a comedian. Fred West gets into trouble. How am I going to get into trouble? There's paedophiles with careers. What have I ever done?
No, but even at the end of the Golden Globes, just in case you'd left anyone unoffended, how did you sign off?
I just thanked everyone, and I said, and of course, thanks to God for making me an atheist.
Which you can say here, but in America they take that stuff very seriously.
Well, yeah, I think it's sort of, I think it's about 10% atheist. I think here's about 45% atheist. But yeah, they were offended by it. They thought it was...
That's only because God lives in the Midwest, doesn't he?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
He's got a place there.
Yeah. Was it the next day, was it after the Golden Globes, that someone sent you the picture of the church?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's, I think some reverend somewhere or some bishop did a sermon for me to save my soul, because I'm going to hell, of course.
This is a picture of the thing. It's
yeah.
That's real.
Oh, it's real. No, it's real, yeah.
A sermon for Ricky Gervais. And then was it the same day or the next day that someone said...
That's in LA. There's a difference. In New York, they named a sandwich after me.
See, in the window there, a sandwich for Ricky Gervais.
I'm going to hell, but there's cheese and ham.
Now, tell me, let's talk about your gig that's coming up, the Golden Globes.
I want to do a proper job this year. The thing is, I haven't run anything by them. The good thing about it is they don't want to see anything. They said that last year. I don't show them the script. Right. And I had to tell them about one thing I wanted to do, because it was a bit of a stunt, and I needed their cooperation. I needed a costume. And I told them, and they said, no, we can't do that. So
they turned you down on that?
So I'm not telling them anything.
Can you tell us what that idea was, so we know?
Yeah, it wasn't that... Yeah.
Maybe we...
Well, no,
maybe we could use it.
I wanted it to be the opening, you know, they go, Ricky, please welcome Ricky Gervais. And I was going to come out dressed as Adolf Hitler. Right? No, right? And I was going to come out that way, so I was just doing that, waving to them, right? And then get to the podium and let it die down and go, too much? Right? And then I wanted to look in the crowd and go, it's the wrong crowd, it's just the wrong crowd. And then I was going to say, that's the last time I borrow a suit from Mel Gibson.